Donna, some time has passed by. What, 2 years since Mike's passing?
Yeah, it's about two. It'll be maybe about 2.5 years now.
And today we're here in memory of Mike. Okay, I know you wish that this we
I
wouldn't,
wish I didn't have to be here for this. I wish Michael was here.
but we are. Donna, what's your words for the people? Tell us how important this is for you, for your family, and for the people of Yonkers.
It's not that it's important, but it's an honor. You know, it's a way of always remembering Michael and remembering the person that he was and the things that he did. He had a big effect on the community. You know, from helping kids, helping coach baseball or basketball teams, all the clubs that he participated in where he played. You know, he played down at the Glenwood Packhoy, and we used to have so much fun. Luddale. I just want people to always remember who he was, and he was a good kid. He had a big heart, and he just loved life. So I come here and, to see his name up there, it means a lot.
It means a lot to you, and it means a lot to all of us. And I'm not going to even ask you about how you will remember Mike, the good stuff, bad stuff, little kids,
Yeah.
But we, the people from Yonkers, will remember him forever as well. So do you have any messages for the kids of Yonkers, the guns, the criminal?
Yeah, I mean, if we could get, Yonkers has one of the best gun buyback programs there is. I mean, if we can get one gun off the street, I think that's an accomplishment. You know, when you pick up that gun and you pull the trigger, those bullets don't have a name. And it's not worth it. You ruin your life, your family's life, you take somebody else's life, and that family has to now go on and figure out how I'm going to get through each day. Some days are harder than others, but it's not worth it. It's really not. Try and just be positive. Get involved in something, whether it's sports or art, music. Get involved in something. You don't need, if you have an argument with somebody, just let it be. Go the other way. You don't need to use a gun to get your point across. Nothing is worth taking someone's life. Nothing. I don't care what it is.
Donna, by memory, do you remember the number of these cash for guns? So where people
I don't remember. I have it here. I have cards here with all the information on it. They're on the table over there. I don't remember it offhand.
Neither do I, but we will post it.
Yes.
Any memories, a fun memory of Mike that you want to share with us?
Oh God.
I know there is so many, but
many.
just pick one.
I think one of them is, I remember he came to me on a Thursday night and he said that this guy Lenny wanted him to go to Philadelphia in the morning and pitch a game because he was getting ready. He wanted the colleges to look at him. So I said, okay, we'll go. So we got up in the morning, we went out there, and we pulled into this parking lot. And I'm looking around. I said, Mike, I don't think you're going to be playing ball here. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. The guy Lenny comes over. He goes, they had a storm last night. We can't play here. So we're going to just drive around. We'll find somewhere to play. So Michael right away said, let me drive. I said, all right, I didn't think nothing of it. He was driving slow. I said, we're going to lose them. We're not going to be able to catch up to them. He was like, don't worry about it. Got stuck at that red light. He made a left. I remember him opening the sunroof on the car, windows down, music blasting, just dancing and singing and telling people on the corner that he was an MLB baseball player for the New York Yankees. And we laughed the whole way home. He stopped and talked to everybody that was on every street corner, and we just laughed the whole way home.
And Donna, how's Jim, your husband, and your kids doing?
They're heartbroken. They're heartbroken. Jimmy lost his son, his friend. Michael was more than just our son or their brother. He was, we were all friends, and we did everything together. We try. We cry every day, and you go to the cemetery and you visit him, and you look at his pictures and you think of all the stuff that we've lost out on. I have my granddaughter now, but I think that I didn't get a chance to see him get married or have kids, and I'm never going to have that. I'm never going to have that chance to see him pitch in a major league game. And I always told him, no matter who you play against, even if it's the Yankees, I'll be that one fan there cheering you on the loudest, and I don't get that.
I'm sorry, Donna. Well, we will stay in touch, okay, Donna?
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Chief Hodges, James Nolan. Chief, tell us about how does this Cash for Guns program is going and how important it is for the city of Yonkers and for the safety of the people of Yonkers.
Well, the gun tip hotline is going really well. We continue to get guns off the street, and these are illegal guns. These are guns that hurt people. Unfortunately, Michael Nolan was killed a few years back. Jimmy has been a big advocate for the gun tip hotline. His message is resonating with a lot of people, a lot of younger people. So we're noticing a lot more guns coming off the street, and we're noticing that kids and young men his age are realizing that violence isn't the answer. We're giving people $500 for an illegal gun. They're using this to get a better education, to move on, to do different things. So the gun tip hotline has really done well. A very bad thing, which was the murder of Michael Nolan, has resonated into something really, really good. And I give Jimmy a lot of credit. He's come a long way. He's matured immensely in a short amount of time. And because of him, this program continues to excel.
James, do you know the number by memory for people to call, to report, bring the guns in?
Yeah, 1-800, what's the
377 guns.
Well, we need those guns in. Any words for the people of Yonkers?
Just please, if you consider it, like I said, you don't want to be in my circumstance. You don't want to be the person that says, hey, I'll see you later to your brother and he doesn't come home, or to your sibling, whatever the case may be, your friend. It's something that should be pushed more, and it is being pushed more. We've gotten tremendous support, and it's actually going to go statewide. It's going to go statewide, and that's a tremendous thing that, and it gets a lot of respect for Yonkers for developing this program. And the only thing we can keep do is keep pushing the message out there and keep fighting forward, and every gun that's taken off the street saves a life or saves family going through pain. It's worth it. Think twice about picking up that gun. If you're going to pick it up, make sure you call 1-800 gun tip hotline to turn it in.
Thank you both, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Everybody here.
Thank you for coming out today to this special occasion as we celebrate the life of Michael Nolan. My name is Anthony Moranti. I'm honored to be the council member in this district. I'm also honored to be someone that knows the Nolan family for probably 20 years. Our children went to school together at Patricia DiChiaro, and from way back when, the Nolan family has been very active in the community with one thing or another, from sports to being involved with the 9/11 memorial, and anything that someone needs help with something, the Nolans were there, and it personified through their children. And Michael Nolan was followed right in his parents' footsteps. They were always involved with doing something to help somebody, especially with the athletics. You can't find anybody more supportive of athletics, the Yonkers Public Schools, and an advocate for the children. So today, I'm honored to have sponsored legislation to have Stockbridge Road have the honorary name of Michael Nolan Way. So with that, I would like to bring on a few of our other officials that are here to join this honorable day, and I'm going to start off with our mayor, Mike Spano. Sorry, Mike.
Thank you, Councilman Moranti. And for those of you who know my relationship with Donna and Jimmy and the boys, you'll know that when you see Donna, she usually does one of these things to me. And we always kid around, because the first time I met Donna, I was walking the street, and there was a young gentleman who was doing some work, I think without a permit, complaining about the city and complaining about the fact that he had to get a permit. And but I was doing door to door. I was campaigning for mayor at the time. I think I lost that year, but I was campaigning for mayor, and I met Jimmy Nolan. And when I first met him, and he had a lot to say to me, right? It was Donna who was standing behind him when he was trying to say out of his view, going, keep on walking, don't talk to him. And anyway, we started speaking then, and we've been friends ever since. Really good friends. I still have the wall that Michael Nolan signed for me, that you gave me and I keep it at City Hall. And it was a really tragic moment. When I got that call, I was actually away in Florida. I flew back the first flight and get back. Michael's in the hospital. We were hoping for some type of recovery. That didn't come. And the Nolan family went through the unimaginable tragedy of losing their child, losing their brother, losing the hope and the promise that he offered all of us, that his life offered us, not just in terms of athletics, but in terms of what he would have offered our community. Because every time we lose our life, we lose something. Our community loses something. We each lose a piece of us. And, you know, they could have just licked their wounds. They could have just, you know, said, this is, you know, a tragedy that far too many families deal with. But they didn't. They decided to go out and make a difference. And to make a difference in exchange for their child, which is, I don't think anything or anybody in here today would ever want to make that exchange, but they did. And they decided that, you know what, we needed to do more to end children from racing their cars in our community. And now we have a new law passed by the City Council, which is probably one of the toughest laws available, that if you're caught drag racing on the Yonkers streets, we will take your car from you. And that has prevented a lot of racing, at least on the city streets of Yonkers. When it came time to pulling the plug on Michael, they had to make a decision. They knew that with Michael's organs, they could save a lot of lives. And as a brother of a sister who is in need of a double lung transplant, I was able to meet the young gentleman who has Michael's lungs. Anti-drag racing, organ donoring, the fight against gun violence and the too much of it that exists on the streets of our cities in America. 44 young men, mostly young men, die in the streets of American cities each and every day, just the way Michael lost his life. And this family is incredible. They're inspirational. This family is, you know, when you see them, Donna's, you know, she's very different. You know, she's not. But Donna and Jimmy and the whole family, they light up the room when they walk in. They are so positive, and for them, it's just about, well, what can we do to prevent this from happening to some other family? I don't want to see this happening to someone else. And if it does, how can I save the life of someone else? And you know what? How can we make our community safer? And how can we get guns off the streets? That's what they say. And how can they raise money so that they can help children get education? And that's what they've been doing. So on behalf of myself, I know on behalf of Councilman Moranti, who's the chief sponsor here, on behalf of the entire City Council, I want to say thank you for sharing Michael with us, for sharing Michael's life with us, for us to be able to stand together and to celebrate Michael's life, because that's what we're here to do today. Celebrate his life, and then at the same time say thank you to the Nolan family, because you have saved lives. You have made the lives of people better. You can literally say that you've saved lives and you've made people's lives just a little bit better. And for that, I know he looks down from us in heaven, and he's probably the reason we didn't get rain today. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you, and thank you to the council for passing this important legislation. God bless your family. I just so you know, I have a proclamation. It's not really the important part of today, but I'll give you the proclamation, and then I'll turn it back over to our Councilman Moranti.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now I'd like to bring on the brothers of Michael. We have Jimmy, Joe, and Nick. Why don't you come on up?
Thank you. Thank you for everybody coming today. Thank you to the council, state officials, county. It's a hard day for us. This is our brother's birthday. He meant everything to us. He was our best friends, and even though we would fight and argue at times, there was no argument of how much we cared about each other. So we forever will celebrate his birthday, and this is what it is, a birthday gift to Mike. A birthday gift to Mike because he would have been turning 26 this Saturday, So it's something that, as hard as it is, we want to do for him, and not just for him, but for the community. Like I said, it's extremely painful, but I remember having a petition in my room for over a year and a half, and I literally woke up and I said, I'm going to start this today. And I went door to door asking every neighbor, and every neighbor was so sincere and sweet and signed it, no questions asked. And the one thing that honestly did touch me a lot was every neighbor here had a story about Mike or myself or my brothers, about how Mike would help shovel snow, or him riding his bike down the street, or playing basketball. There's many memories, like one of our neighbors, Kevin, how when we were younger, we was friends with his daughter, and Kevin invited us inside, and we're watching Saturday Night Fever with Kevin, and me and Mike are just looking at each other laughing. And then that same neighbor, he dunked the ball on the backboard, and it came down and split him open the head. Turn around, Kevin dragging the basketball hoop up the street to give it to Mike. It's things like that. Things like that, when I see this sign, when I see May 26th as Michael Nolan Day in Yonkers and Westchester County, it helps. It helps because when I drive down the street every day, I could picture him in front of me riding his bike like we were when we were younger. Now I could look at this sign and, this is Mike Nolan's way. So I want to say thank you to everybody that came out today, to everybody that showed support, all our elected officials that have been nothing but great to us. So again, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Jimmy. The spirit of the Nolans reach, through the county, and at this point, we're going to bring up the county legislators, and I'm going to just let Councilman Johnson, County Legislator Johnson, come up. I forgot. You moved out of the city. You're not part of the city right here. So we're now going to. He's representing County Executive George Latimer, and then with the other. I hope the other county legislators can come on up also and say a few words. So, County Legislator Johnson.
I knew you liked me.
So I'm going to ask that the other legislators join, and that just after I say some words on behalf of the county executive, I'm going to turn it over to Legislator Burrows, who represents this district. But the county executive reached out to me personally and said, could you go and represent the county on my behalf, because I can't unfortunately be there. And my response was, for the Nolans? Absolutely. I don't know why, but absolutely. And, just as the mayor said, the family is truly special. I can remember a time doing a presentation about government and politics in a classroom, and there was one student who knew all the answers. And I wondered why he knew all the answers. Oh, because he was a Nolan, that's why. And, oftentimes you say, there are two conversations that you shouldn't have at the dinner table, and it's about politics and religion. Well, whenever I see Jimmy, he starts talking about one of them, and and Donna goes, walk away. So, Mayor, we have similar experiences. But the other time where people are often separated, but people come together, is around sports. And so when you think about the Nolan family, you think about those moments where you can be completely on the opposite side of issues, whether it be politics or whether it be sports. But you know what? After that final bell, after the final tally is taken, you can truly sit down, have a conversation, eat a meal, and have a good time. And that was embodied by Mike, and what he was able to share and pass on even after his death. He gave so much life while he was here, and even after he was able to continue that. So on behalf of the county executive, I want to present this proclamation, and I'm going to ask for my colleagues to say a few words.
Good afternoon. Donna said I look like a Secret Service, so I'm going to take the glasses off. I happen to be the area representative in this community, and this is a bittersweet moment for all of us. Obviously, we're here to celebrate Michael's life, to recognize his birthday, but it was tragic what happened to Mike, and it's tragic what happened to this family. This is a very dynamic family. This is a family that cares about community, cares about family, cares about itself. And to recognize Michael in this way is nice, but as I said before, it's bittersweet. So we all have a sign that we're going to go and disclose, but this is now going to be known as Michael Nolan Way. And we're always going to, every time we pass this road, whether we walk, we drive, we ride our bikes, Mike's going to come into our minds. And I learned a long time ago, if somebody's always alive, as long as they're in your mind and your heart. And so that sign is going to be a remembrance that Mike existed. And it's also going to be a remembrance that Mike, in death, gave 6 people lives, was able to really help me. And that says something about not only Mike, but the family. So when we see the sign, remember Mike. You know, there's a saying about you come into life with nothing, you leave life with nothing, and everything in between is a gift. And obviously, Mike had a lot of gifts. He had a loving family, loving community. He had special skills. I mean, this guy was 6'8". Can you imagine that? 6'8", 225 pounds, a lefty, throw a ball 96 miles an hour. He had special talents, and the mayor said it very well. Somebody like losing Mike is extra special or an extra special loss, because if Mike could have made it to the major leagues, he would have put Yonkers further on the map. So we'll always remember Mike. Mike had the benefit of having loving parents and loving siblings, a nice community, and we obviously had the loving memory of Mike. So we'll remember Mike every day we pass this road. So to the parents, to the family, to everybody in the community, this is his day. Thank you. And I just want to recognize my colleagues. I don't know if they each want to speak, but David Tubiolo is here. Virginia Perez is here. We also have a proclamation on behalf of the county, again recognizing Mike.
Okay. Quite a lot of proclamations, which is a good thing. It's actually very hard not to get emotional, because when the whole tragedy first happened, I immediately connected with your family, because it's basically what happened to mine. So the first time I spoke with Jimmy, I almost started crying, because he reminded me a lot. I see a lot of myself in him, because he reacted to the loss of his brother the same way I reacted to the loss of mine. And keep pushing forward. Never let anyone forget that your brother was here and your brother was leaving a mark. So you continue on that mark for him, and let everybody know that your brother mattered, and continue on his legacy. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional, but I walked the exact same shoes, and I know exactly the loss that your family feels, and I'm very proud of you for reacting to his loss the way you have reacted. So keep moving forward.
The Nolan family is very dear to all of us. Not only because they're such a wonderful family and they represent Yonkers so great, because they're dear, close friends. And we don't want anything, no tragedy like this to happen again. So we looked at what the city council did, and Legislator Perez and I, with Jimmy's help, sponsored legislation to prevent illegal street racing. And we're actually moving on it very soon. I spoke to the county attorney 2 days ago, and we're picking it back up in a month or so, to make sure nothing like this happens again, not just in Yonkers, but in Westchester County. Now, I have to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and this is a very emotional day, and you are what Yonkers families and Westchester families should be: caring, committed, dedicated, and loving. Thank you.
Thank you, county legislators. Now, again, in order for me to be able to go back to the council chamber without having any words thrown at me, I have to bring up I'm honored to bring up my colleagues from the city council to say a few words. We have Majority Leader Mike Sabatino, John Rubo from the 4th District. I think I had Corazon Pinedo Isaac she was here with a couple of somewhere. Corazon, if you want to come up and say a few words, and I have Deanna who representing Shanae Williams, and did I leave anybody else out over here? Okay, well, you guys want to come up and Mike, you want to come up and say a few words, please? Let me get this down. Let me take this down.
I know we're all anxious to get this sign unveiled, so I won't be long, but as was said, the Nolans are so active in this community, and, there are many times we disagree on policy or issues, but we still all stick together, and I can't even imagine the tragedy that they have to deal with on a daily basis, but this is a small token from the city of Yonkers to hopefully make them feel a little bit better about what transpired. It will never take away the hurt and the sorrow, but we're happy that we could do this small event, which might give them some consolation. And I'm so proud of what they've done, raising awareness on organ donations. It's so important. I mean, look at how many lives Mike changed by having his organs donated. And also the gun violence, which we know is so prevalent here in this country. Our kids should not be afraid to go to school or not be afraid that they're not going to come home. So we have to keep focusing on controlling the gun violence. And there is going to be an event on June 2nd at City Hall at the Unity Plaza, and I would welcome all of you to join us on Friday, June 2nd. Thank you.
June 1st.
Is it June 1st? I'm sorry, June 1st.
Corazon, is Deanna, so there's the Corazon's tending to a couple of children? Okay. All right. Deanna, would you like to come? Okay. Deanna Robinson from Shanae Williams' office.
Hi, I'm here on behalf of Councilwoman Shanae Williams, and I knew Mike personally. We share a lot of the same friends. He was a great, great guy, and this was a tragic loss for everybody, so I'm just glad we get to remember him this way. Happy birthday, Mike.
I ran from work, so I'm sorry I don't have the suit and tie on today. Yeah, in the truck. Today is a very special day. Michael and my son share a birthday, and it's a very special day every year. And I know how it affects the Nolans every morning that you wake up on May 26th. And every day I drive up past now Michael Nolan Way when I drop my kids off at my in-laws here in Homefield. But the one thing I think this tragedy represented is it really represents what Yonkers is about. Yonkers is a very large city, but we're a small community. And this very large city, regardless of political affiliation, what side of the city you live on, or your religious beliefs, we all came together and supported the Nolan family, and now every single day they go out into the community and support Yonkers. And I just want to thank you for everything that you do, and we're here for anything that you need. Thanks.
Okay, I'd like to introduce now our Senator, Shelley Mayer.
Thank you, Anthony. Just to add, this is the worst personal tragedy any parent or family can ever imagine. And the Nolan family, to its credit, as the mayor said, took this unbelievable tragedy and turned it into a force for change. And I have had the pleasure of working with Jimmy at the state level on a gun buyback bill modeled on Yonkers. We're going to work on the drag racing bill. But the power of turning the greatest tragedy, personal tragedy any family could imagine, into something that moves the world forward is a tribute to them. And so when we drive by, it's really a tribute to your whole family for making that happen and for keeping him alive in that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We also have representing Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousin is Sergio Serrato.
Thank you so much. I'm representing Senator Stewart-Cousins, who was not able to make it here, but she asked me to please come and represent her. And I want to thank you for what you have done for the community and what you have given the community, the example that your son gave kids like us, like me, like I was a couple of years ago, and will give to other young fellows. And I'll make sure that you follow that example, and we're gonna be connected more than ever, working for the community. We were talking about it before. You are the future of him here on earth, and he'll be guiding you from the sky. So thank you, and thank you so much, parents. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. You know, one of the other things that we also have to be thankful for is the work of the police department. I mean, it wasn't an easy case, and we got to commend them commend the police department for all their hard work and bringing the individuals to justice and justice was served. So let's have a hand for the police department. We have a couple other speakers. We have Megan Fagler from Live On New York.
It is just such an honor and a privilege to be here today, celebrating Mike's life and his legacy, which continues to live on through his family. I first met the Nolan family a few years ago when they decided to come volunteer for our organization. Live On New York helps promote organ and tissue donation throughout the New York metro area, and we have such a great need. Hundreds and thousands of New Yorkers are currently waiting for a life-saving transplant, and they dedicate their time and energy to make sure they're sharing their story and encouraging donation. As some of you have heard today, Michael Nolan gave the gift of life to 6 people, 6 individuals who wouldn't have lived without him. And it's not just them, it's their families who are now celebrating that legacy of Michael as well. The Nolan family is truly a beacon of light in the darkness. They channeled their grief into a vehicle of positive change, not only with organ donation, but everything we've spoken about today. Their efforts share light with everyone they meet, and it's truly contagious to make positive change and impact within their communities and now beyond. James Nolan is in every hospital within New York City, Long Island, anywhere that I need him to go speak to surgeons, nurses, anyone that he could possibly share the story, make sure they know their clinical triggers and are saving as many lives as possible. Michael's legacy is not only the people that he saved and their families, it's his scholarship, it's donation, it's now this street. So we can't thank you enough for being the light in the darkness that you've truly been.
Thank you very much. Before I forget, I want to also thank the Yonkers DPW for all the members for putting this together today. Now I can still walk into City Hall without getting beat. And now I'd like to introduce Michael's parents, Donna and Jimmy.
All right, wait. I'm going to make this as short as possible because I truly appreciate everyone coming here today and honoring Michael. When people ask me where I live and I say Yonkers, I say it with pride because I am so proud and so honored and so happy and grateful for every part of the city of Yonkers who stood by my family in one of the darkest days of our lives. I can never thank the Yonkers Police Department for everything they did. Joe, I love you guys. The mayor, the city council, DPW parks, everybody that has always been there since this tragedy to be with my family. I thank you for that, and I just want everybody to always remember Mike for the kid that he was. Always happy, always laughing, and always had a story. So when it says Michael's way, I used to always tell him, you live in Michael's world. Because whatever he wanted to do, he did. And he loved life to the fullest. I have to say, for 23 years old, he accomplished more in his life than most people could ever imagine. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank each and every one of you for everything you've done since day one.
People get nervous when I start talking, but Michael had other talents, all right? I was involved building skyscrapers in New York City. I ran a lot of big crews. Michael loved coming to work with me. Him, at the end of the day, getting laid off, he loved it because everybody put $1 in to his layoff fund envelope, and the shop stewards used to come up to him and say, sorry, buddy, today's your last day. And a lot of private union guys get that. And Michael loved coming to work. And when 9/11 happened, you know, I was involved. I was there when everything was going on, fires, you name it, I was there. When the fires were out, Michael wanted to go down there. And I'll never forget, I snuck him in down there. The fires were out. And he asked me about every machine down there, and there was a crane down there. It's one of the biggest movable cranes in the country. It comes on 18 tractor trailers, and we put it together to move debris, to recover bodies. Michael wanted to get on that. I have a picture of him on that, and I got him over there. And he was so proud to be down there. Then he found out I built a memorial down there. Every 2 weeks we would collect money from everybody. And John Flowers, we would get like $1,500. They would just set it up. And every 2 weeks we would change out the flowers. And Michael came down with me every 2 weeks with a friend of mine, Tommy McEwen. And Michael loved it. It was on Western Vest. Red Cross had a big tent there. And he would stand out on the corner giving construction workers water, the police, the firemen. And Mike had a different talent. He went to Saunders. He learned how to weld, solder, electrical work, while Michael helped build Woodlawn Electric. Michael had a different talent. Michael could have drove trucks, tractor trailers, you name it, and my father-in-law is sitting over there. He used to come up. He drove a roll-off, an A1 strap, and he used to come up, and my wife will meet him, and they'll strap him in to this truck with his car seat and drive with my father-in-law for hours. This kid had so many different talents. All my kids do. But Michael's a big hit, man. I cry every day. And these illegal guns got to stop. They're out there killing cops. The only talk we have is about these school shootings. In New York City, it's a mass shooting every weekend. If you investigate, it's 10 to 15 people getting shot a week. And nobody wants to talk about that. And me and my wife, we raised our kids the right way. Someone's being bullied in school, it's teachers here, they'll tell you. Be their friends. Don't join in. You see someone in stress, you need to help them. My kids did all that, okay? I blame parents not raising their kids. I blame politicians not doing the right thing. Both parties fighting. It has to stop. We got to get along, man. Like most of Michael's friends are black and Puerto Rican, and I tell them this racial stuff got to stop. And I tell them if it was racial stuff going on in this country, Obama would have never been president the first time or the second time. You know, I know people get nervous, but we need to all love each other. And parents, hug your kids. I mean, I lost 2 sisters in a car accident over 32 years ago, and my mother's still crying. You know, and judges need to start doing their jobs. We got illegal guns out there killing police officers out through the whole country. I just want to bring that to everybody's attention. Just love each other. It doesn't matter where we come from. Get up. Help each other. I hope I didn't get anybody mad.
You don't get anybody mad when you speak from the heart, and you speak from the heart. And the one thing, again, with the Nolan family is that they have a heart for, for everybody. A couple other acknowledgments. Traffic engineering, Dominic was here. I don't know if he's still here. Thank you very much, Dominic, for everything. Also, another good friend of the family. I don't know if he would like to come up. He's hiding in the shade because he's afraid of getting sunburned. Is former Council President Liam McLaughlin. Do you want to come say anything, Liam? Come say anything. Come on. You always can say something, Liam. Come on. We know this. You're a lawyer.
I haven't talked in how long?
Come on. We don't. Don't trip. We don't want you to get embarrassed over here. Come on.
Uh-oh, you're giving him the spotlight. He's never going to leave.
I want to see him get some sunburn.
I will be very brief. There's been a lot of speeches and comments here about the Nolan family, about Michael. We could all go on for days. They're there. They're part of everything that goes on in the city. After going through what they've been through, a lot of people would go into their houses and never come out, but they've taken the exact opposite attitude and put the name of the city of Yonkers foremost in everything they do, for their friends, for their neighbors, for their extended family that is the city. So the Nolan family knows how I feel about them, and I thank the City Council, I thank the administration for putting this together and for making such a special day here today. Thank you.
Because I get the honor of bringing this together, I have to say just one other thing, and we're celebrating Michael's life today. But in the tragic death, one thing that we have to remember how precious life is, and all the people around us. And I know how, like police and fire, when their spouses, they go to work every day and they're all concerned. But it's not a police officer or a fireman here. It was just a young guy that was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and so too often, this happens to us too often. And just let's cherish every day and the people around us, and enjoy life every day, and all the people around us. So with that, I'd like to bring the Sure, Michelle.
Is this an official name change or an honor? What is it?
It is an honorary name. It is not. We're not changing the name. Stockbridge will still be Stockbridge. Honorary naming of Michael Nolan Way.
Mayor, I have a quick question for you.
Is that on subject?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, the way the charter works is street naming and honorary naming is done by the city council. The rule is the person would have to be gone from us at least a year before it will be taken up. And then, of course, there's a petition process, and the city council has to bring and do it. It's not something that the mayor's office does, the council's office. It's a city council function.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going.